Hello everybody, it's me, your good friend Sparky, and welcome back to Pikmin on the Wii in Challenge Mode. We are going to be moving on to the Forest of Hope in this particular video. And you see that high score there? Of 442 Pikmin grown in a single day? There's a funny story about that high score, because I recorded me getting that high score. I did. But as it turns out, partway through my recording, my laptop froze. Just completely. 100% locked up, and I didn't realize it until I was already done playing that round of challenge mode. I sent a brilliant new high score, and I have no actual proof that I actually said it. So, we're gonna try to at least get another semi-competent score on this round of the Forest of Hope instead. It's always a disappointment when technical difficulties get in the way of an otherwise brilliant round of any video game, really. But especially with setting high scores in Pikmin Challenge Mode, it always feels good. It always feels really good, and I really wish that I actually had video proof of that high score, of me setting it at this point. But, as it is, right now, you just have to take my word for it, I guess. There's no other way to go about it. You'll just have to believe me that, yes, I did actually set that brilliantly high score on the Forest of Hope. Even then, I'm sure that there are people who have set even higher scores than that. I'm sure that I am still just very small potatoes in the grand scheme of things of Pikmin Challenge Mode records. But, man, I still was really happy with that run. And, nope, my laptop just disagreed. Didn't want the world to see it, so it just ended up, pooping out right in the middle of things. And it's honestly extra disappointing because it's been a really long time since I had a really bad foul up like that in some kind of recording setting. And it's of course on something like really impressive that I wanted people to see, you know? It's like I'm to the point where I've got some of this recording stuff down to a science, and I don't usually... I've got good enough equipment now that I don't usually have really bad problems like that anymore, but of course, it just so happens that that ends up becoming an issue right when I'm setting a good score. But enough about complaining about that, I guess. We're here talking about Challenge Mode, the Forest of Hope. The Forest of Hope is actually a lot more like a normal map of Pikmin. There's a lot more enemies scattered around, there's a lot more obstacles in the way, and it makes sense because this is a much larger map than the impact site. There's going to be a lot of Bulborbs around, honestly. That's the primary thing we're going to be seeing here. And I'm not sure why I'm not swarming these guys. Usually swarming the Pikmin is, swarming your Pikmin around the Bulborbs and Bulbears is usually the best way to go, but for some reason I just didn't. I don't know why. It's one thing about the Wii version of the game is that swarming your Pikmin does tend to not be as solid a strategy. It can be tricky to take care of things like that. And it's like On the GameCube version, you just have the C-stick to worry about, and it's actually works relatively smoothly, but having to point at the screen and direct your Pikmin with the pointer instead, it doesn't work quite as well. I will always fully give credit to the GameCube version's controls, that the whole swarming mechanic is definitely more competently handled in the GameCube version, I think. I feel like there could have been a different way to go about it in this version, but at the same time, I don't really know how they would have pulled it off otherwise. Because the Wii Remote and Nunchuck setup does not have that sort of dual analog setup that the GameCube controller does. I guess they did the best with what they had to work with, honestly. Ugh. And we also have to make sure that we're paying attention to what flower Pikmin we have. We definitely need to keep things rolling with that so Pikmin can get things back fast enough, because getting a good high score in this really determines on how quickly your Pikmin can carry stuff back to the onions. If they take too long with that sort of thing, it just doesn't end up working out, honestly. And of course there's bomb rocks all over the place, so there's also bomb rock management to pay attention to. If we are not careful with that, we'll... Actually, I don't think there's much to worry about as far as bomb rock management at the challenge mode of Forest of Hope. I was gonna say, we gotta be careful to make sure we are taking care of business and we don't misuse our bomb rocks too much. But at the same time, there should be plenty of bomb rocks lying around on this particular version of the map. And I don't think we gotta worry too much about it, honestly. Mostly just we gotta use it to knock down use them to knock down a couple gates and take care of some bigger enemies if we want to finish things off quickly. Like right here, we can easily just swarm the regular Bulborbs and it's no problem. But taking care of Bulbers and stuff, they're a little tougher, so doing the feeding the bomb rock strategy is usually the better way to go about it. Even though, technically, you don't really need to. I mean, it's kind of counterproductive to do the feed 'em bombs strategy, because it makes your Pikmin get eaten in the process, and we're trying to grow as many Pikmin as possible instead of, you know, purposefully exploding them. It doesn't make as much sense on this particular version of the map in comparison to quickly taking care of things in the regular story mode, because we no longer have to worry about gathering ship parts and things like that. It's just about growing Pikmin, so priorities change over the course of this particular versions of these particular versions of the maps in challenge mode. Also, I ended up growing a lot of blue Pikmin. I didn't really mean to do that, but sometimes when you're just swarming things and not really paying attention to what Pikmin are going where, one type of Pikmin can end up really taking over. Now I'm swarming them. I think I realized that tossing the Pikmin just wasn't going to be working out very well for me. So, back to the swarming strategy. All well and good, fine and dandy. Ah, yeah. And it's really just all Bulbors here. I mean, there's like nothing else going on. It's just Bulbors all the time. I want to say up in the Snagrit area, there's probably some burrowing Snagrits to deal with. But, at the same time, I don't really know, because I don't think I've ever really actually gone up to that area during a challenge mode map. It just always seemed to make more sense to spend my time just taking care of the Bulborbs and getting the Pearly Clam pearls, which are very important in challenge mode. Trying to locate those and getting them is definitely should be a top priority when you're doing a challenge mode map. Because, yeah, they're worth a lot of Pikmin, and it's just crazy important to try and get those, because that's 50 Pikmin added to your score. There's usually 2 pearls on the maps that they are included on. They're not on every map. They're definitely not in the impact site. But that's 100 Pikmin, like, right there, then and there. So, if you want that high score, the nice, brilliant high scorage, definitely aiming for those pearls is something you want to do while you're doing this. And it only takes 2 bomb rocks to quickly knock the pearls out of the clam's mouth. And getting that particular pearl, I don't think it's as easy to do that in the GameCube version of the game. Since, throwing a bomb Pikmin up there is no problem, really. But from, like, the angle that the pearl exits the clam's mouth, I think it ends up maybe going a little too far inland, and you can't really effectively throw a group of Pikmin up there to pick it up. But I'm not entirely sure on that. I could just be assuming things. For instance, though, it's actually a lot harder to get this blue 10 pellet up here because Olimar's throwing range is so much shorter in the GameCube version. To get that, otherwise you would have to actually throw a group of Pikmin up there and walk around in order to actually get all that taken care of. And you don't really have to worry about that in the Wii version. It's just all of that good extended throwing range-ness. But it really does make a difference, too. I know I've said it like a dozen times at this point, but it really does make a difference when it comes to taking care of things in the first Pikmin game. Just being able to throw a little farther and get your Pikmin to areas that otherwise normally they really wouldn't be able to get to. It's an absolute game changer between the different versions of the games. And that part there, that was me wasting some time because I thought I wanted to take care of that bull bear up there and feed him some explosives, but I decided it really wasn't worth it. Because sometimes you just gotta pick your battles. And it's not often worth risking your Pikmin or risking taking damage for a reward that's not too significant. I mean, the bull bears are still worth a lot of Pikmin, but at the same time, sometimes they're just not worth fighting. And in order to take care of him quickly, in that case, I would have to sacrifice 3 Pikmin in the process, and I've already did that a couple of times, and you really shouldn't be doing that on the challenge mode, and yeah. You gotta pick your battles. And sometimes a battle just ain't worth picking. Or a fight's not worth picking, I guess. A fight's not worth picking in Pikmin. There we go. That makes sense. But once you clear the map out of Bulbarbs and stuff here, it really just becomes about pellet gathering. I mean, of course, it makes sense. There's still a lot of, like, really big pellet numbers and stuff to find here. And I end up doing something kind of dumb here. And I think that's what ends up costing me a bit of high score-ness. Like, not getting as high of a score as I possibly could here. I ended up just giving the 20 yellow pellet there to the blues. And that's not a good thing. That severely cuts down, like, the number of Pikmin you can grow with a really big pellet. I'm pretty sure it cuts it in half by, like, 10. So, yeah. It would have made much more sense to just, you know, give it to the yellows like you're supposed to do. But, you know, hindsight and all that. I could have ended up getting a better score at the end of the day, and it just didn't end up working out, I guess. Really ending up having so many blues and not enough reds and yellows really did become a hindrance here, just because I wasn't sure if I had enough poor Bulbear. Jeez. I wasn't sure if I ended up having enough Pikmin of a particular color to carry these bigger pellets. Like right now, I've got barely any reds, and that actually could have ended up being a little costly, because otherwise they wouldn't be able to throw it, carry it through the fire. But I ended up having enough, and then they ended up getting stuck on the freaking Bulbars and stuff lying around, as the day is winding down, of course. Ugh, just little annoyances. Because yeah, if things do end up getting a little too cluttered, they can get stuck, and they can end up not being able to get things back to the onions on time. It's a little annoying, honestly. But right now, it just ends up becoming about trying to clean up a little bit. Day is winding down. We're almost at sundown. It's not going to be too long before things end up wrapping up. And we just gotta try and take care of things as quickly as possible. And of course, after I said I decided not to sacrifice more Pikmin, I end up sacrificing Pikmin to explosions. So, yeah. Am I a hypocrite? I probably am. Because I just ended up backing out of my decisions. But sometimes sometimes it's worth it, sometimes it's not. When you're really close to the end of the day, sometimes it just ends up becoming much more cost-effective to grab as many things as possible, instead of trying to strategically work out what Pikmin are carrying what where. And I ended up taking care of business here pretty effectively towards the end, I think. But at the same time, I could have played this whole round a little smarter. Truth be told, I was just very irate from losing that recording of the really big high score, and I really wanted to just get this done. Because, man, after I lost that high score, it just ended up there were several other recording attempts for this particular challenge mode, and just nothing was going right. So this ended up being a little angry Sparky playing, and it didn't end up going as well as I would have preferred, but at the same time, we still managed to break that 100 Pikmin there. One more pellet for the road, and that calls it for day 2, or rather challenge 2, of challenge mode in the Wii version of Pikmin. The audience take off, and we get to see our high score tallied up. Climbing ever higher, over 100, over 200, and over 300, and over 400. We end up with 425 Pikmin, getting second place on the high score list. Still wish I had the footage of that 442 high score. Still really mad at my computer for crashing a full lockup at that exact moment. And yeah, we grew a lot of blue Pikmin. That was the blue's time to shine, I guess. But anyway, that's going to call it for right now. Thank you very much for watching. This is your good friend Sparky signing off, and I will catch you later.